When a man is tired, he will come face to face with his demons. I also call this forced vulnerability. Bear with me here. There is some magic that happens when we are able to surrender. And sometimes what it takes for us to surrender, to release our stronghold or our attempt to control life or our emotions or other people or the course and direction of a relationship, what is actually required to release that stronghold that we are so addicted to, that we are so accustomed to, is forced vulnerability. When a man is tired, he comes face to face with his demons. I heard that quote not long ago. And that quote moved me. And the interesting thing is, I heard that quote after I had spoken to a client of mine about forced vulnerability. And I'll give you the details. He said to me, "I'm not well. I really don't feel well. I feel a little weak. I'm tired. I'm just recovering from the flu. I don't think we should do an in-person session." I said, "Absolutely. But let's do a session. Let's do it on the phone. Let's do it via Zoom." And I explained to him that the importance of where he was will probably maximize his opportunity for a breakthrough or a realization that he wouldn't have if he wasn't so tired and fatigued. Because not only is he tired and fatigued physically, he's a little mentally worn down with respect to what's happening in his life. The time is ripe to explore that. With care, of course, with diligence, being in a safe container, not over pushing, not overexerting or overextending. It has to be done methodically, for lack of a better term, but he's in a position where he's vulnerable. And in vulnerability, we can explore our truth. In vulnerability, we can explore who we truly are. We give ourselves just a little more permission. It's like, "I'm so tired, whatever." That's almost the attitude that we take. But in that attitude of whatever, I surrender, we become open to something different, to seeing the world differently to how we saw it before. And sometimes it takes that forced vulnerability, whether it's physical sickness, whether it's an event like a death in the family or a loss or a tragedy that you experience. Sometimes it takes that much for us to move into a place of deeper receptivity for life. It's not a giving up and giving in. It's not a complacency. It's not compliance. It's acceptance and surrender of where we are, and that requires courage. And to apply courage to life, it means that we have to move through our fears. We first have to be aware of them. We have to be in a deeper communion with them. That means now, when we're in a deeper communion with our fears, we are touching our shadows. We are playing with our shadows. Our shadows are coming to life. The parts of us that we've been neglecting, that we've been rejecting, that we've forgotten about, these parts begin to come to life. And in this surrender and acceptance of all that which we are, we love ourselves a little more. We accept ourselves a little more. We apply compassion to those parts that we've been neglecting just a little more. And we open and we expand and we expand and we expand. And we realize who we've always been, but we haven't been able to see it because we haven't been in a vulnerable enough position. And we avoid vulnerability like the plague. We avoid seeing ourselves fully, getting honest with ourselves, getting real with ourselves. We avoid that shit like the plague because it's uncomfortable. Brings up a lot of big emotions. We run from that. And in forced vulnerability, when we don't have a choice but to face the thing that we need to face, which is the totality of who we are ourselves, in the minutiae of that, we can start picking apart old patterns of behavior. We can start looking at old fears that we've been running from or suppressing. We look at relationship dynamics that have been playing out in our life for years that don't serve us, that are coming from past trauma. It's in these instances and in these moments that we can deal with our trauma in a different way, in a way that we never have before. And that forced vulnerability, it's powerful. When a man is tired, he will come face to face with his demons. He has no choice. We have no choice. And sometimes we have to be given no choice. That has been my experience. Not the only experience, but that has been a big part of my transformation, the catalyst for me moving from one way of being in the world, deceitful, cheating, infidelity, low self-worth, false bravado, big ego, massive fears, to saying, no, I don't want that anymore. And I only was able to reach that point when I hit rock bottom. That's another term or another synonym for forced vulnerability, hitting rock bottom, where you just have to take a big exhale and not give up or give in, but accept and surrender to what is being called forward so that you may not continue to be tied to the past. I'm not saying go out and exert yourself. Although, may I share that through many physical experiences where I have purposely pushed myself, whether it's a long bike ride, whether it's an extensive strength training session, whether it's some crazy endurance event, I have come into deeper communion with the parts of me that I didn't even know existed. It brings something out of you. Confidence is built. Awareness is cultivated. You have to know all these parts of you in those, what is perceived to be a precarious situation. That's where we become empowered. We drop the victim stories that we can't do it or we don't have access to that, and we embrace it. There's a part of us, there's a part of the human spirit, of the human physiology that does not want to die, that works both for the ego self and the physical self, the nervous system. We are built to live, to survive, to thrive. And when we're pushed to our tether, something opens up. Something magical has the potential to unravel itself for us. And so what I'm saying is, can you greet the moments of despair and pain and challenge and intensity and extremity? Can you greet it with just a little more curiosity? Just a little more curiosity. Just a little more openness. Can you ask the question is, that question of, tell me more. Can you show me more? I believe in you and I believe in humanity. As much as my own humanness upsets me, as much as humanity sometimes discourages me and disappoints me, I believe in us. I believe in our capacity to be better than we were yesterday.